So, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for Investing in the East of England Showcase, brought to you in partnership with University of Essex, University of East Anglia, and Anglia Capital. In 2019, the amount invested as equity into early stage businesses in the East of England jumped 13% to just under £1 billion. So today, we're going to find out a little bit about why the East of England is an exciting place to deploy capital into businesses that are coming out from that area. We've broken today's session into two parts. The first part will be a panel session with some of the key organizations from the region, and they're going to give us some insight on the dynamics of that area and that region and how you can get involved in there too. Followed by, we're going to have actual 8 live presentations at 5 minutes each. All businesses looking for funding, all from the East of England area, and all doing some very interesting things too. So the setup for the session is quite straightforward. We can use a chat function for some Q&A. We have the founders on chat as well, so you can ask questions of the founders and they can answer you via the chat function. We're not really going to do any direct Q&A for founders afterwards, really just for time in total. So, quick introduction to us. I'm Roderick Beale, I'm the Managing Director of the UK Business Angel Association. In a nutshell, we are the trade body for early stage investing, and we look after about 200 organisations and lots of individual investors that collectively deploy about £2.1 billion each and every year into UK companies. As a trade body, our role is fourfold. We do a lot of work around building better connectivity, helping great investors meet other great investors and put their money into great founders. We do a lot of work around representation. So we champion the kind of the role and the importance of our industry to key government stakeholders at kind of national and international level. In fact, we also raise awareness about early stage investing as an asset class. And finally, we do a lot of work around education and kind of upskilling and professionalization of that early stage investment piece. That is us in a nutshell. So today we've got some 3 great panelists joining us. So I'd like to welcome up, if we can, John Stenhouse from Angels at Essex and the University of Essex, Sally Goodsell from Anglia Capital Group, and Saffron Myhill-Hunt from the University of East Anglia to join me. If you could all switch on your cameras and your microphones, and we can get this panel session on the go. Oh, they all are great. Thank you very much, Sally. Thank you, John and Saffron, for joining us today. I'm going to turn off the screen sharing just so that we can see a bigger video of your wonderful faces. That's better, isn't it, I guess? So look, thank you very much for joining us today, and for John indeed for kind of helping to kind of pioneer and drive this event as well. Let's kick off by maybe in turn, if you could tell us a bit about you, your background and your company and the role that you have within that business as well. So John, do you want to start off?
Certainly. I'm John Stenhouse. I'm the Business Support Manager at the University of Essex on their University Enterprise Zone that they were awarded last year. And certainly my role here is to develop the Angels at Essex equity investment platform for investing in innovative businesses, not only coming from the university, but also coming out of Essex and the East of England. And my other role is to operate a Space to Grow program, which is an informative program of support to entrepreneurs going forward. So combined, they work very nicely together.
Great. Saffron.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Yes, so I work for the University of East Anglia in a specialist department within the university where we work very much outward facing. We've been running the Low Carbon Innovation Fund since 2010, making a number of investments into early stage companies across East Anglia. Since 2010, we invested $20.5 million initially, and we've just recently been awarded another $10.9 million. So we'll be making a number of early stage investments over the next 2 or 3 years. Off the back of the work that we've done on Low Carbon Innovation Fund, we also set up an investment readiness program in conjunction with local authorities and other funders to be able to take the knowledge and expertise of really good founders of businesses and to be able to apply that to new generation of businesses coming through. So our network of angel investors and other funds and also exited successful founders, we bring that knowledge and experience to bear on the next phase, the next generation of businesses. And actually, we've got a number of companies that have been through our investment readiness program here today. So that's great to see.
Great, thank you, Saffron. And Sally, you've been in our industry for many a year, doing some fantastic things.
Far too long, far too long. Yes, thank you very much, Rod. And yeah, thank you for having us all today, and welcome everybody. So yes, on a personal basis, I'm a business angel myself, been involved in the angel and early stage finance world for probably more years than I care to remember. I moved to Suffolk 4 years ago permanently, and got involved with Anglia Capital Group, which is the local business angel network for Suffolk and Norfolk. And I'm a director there, mainly responsible for the operations in Suffolk. So glad to be part of this today. And you have 2 of our portfolio companies presenting today. So hope we have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Sally. So look, let's kick off. I mentioned at the beginning that the East of England has seen a 13% jump in the amount of deployed in that area. So obviously there's quite a bit at later stages too, but clearly some great companies coming out of the East of England. And in fact, the companies presenting represent some, some great green technology, some life sciences. We've got some great SaaS and some really good stuff coming there. What do you guys all think is special about the region? And feel free to jump in, either one of you.
Well, I think the region is very vibrant at the moment. It's full of activity across many sectors. We may be in the shadow of London and Cambridge, but there are some great opportunities here which get overlooked because of that. And that's why we're all here today, to emphasize the fact that there is some really good business here in Essex.
Yeah.
Sally. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. We tend to operate under the radar here. We don't shout about ourselves probably as much as we should do. But and as you said, Rod, I mean, you look at the variety of sectors that the companies today represent, and we've presented, I think, 150 companies to our investors over the last 5 years, and we've made investments in 30 of them, 29 of which are still going. So in terms of a kind of screening process, and it's a testament really to the strength of the entrepreneurs across this whole East Anglian region, that 29 are still going. So as John said, it's incredibly vibrant and a big variety of stuff going on. And I think from an investor perspective, sensible valuations as well. We perhaps haven't gone as crazy as some parts of the UK. So, there are some good deals to be had here, wide range of sectors, and sensible deals.
Presumably, the amount of money they do raise can go a bit further because the costs of running a business out there are a bit lower. I imagine salaries a bit lower than perhaps the more frothy areas of London as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it is an absolutely competitive advantage for entrepreneurs setting up in East Anglia that there are significantly lower operating costs, labour costs and everything, and still great communications. And as we've all seen during lockdown, you can run a business from anywhere. So, and it's a great place to live. We have a great lifestyle up here. So,
and maybe Saffron, we're moving towards a big focus around green technology, which is fantastic, and being kind of, spearheading the Low Carbon Innovation Fund. I mean, what kind of things do you think is exciting from a green tech perspective?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've been looking at, yes, what we now call sort of green tech, but actually that does spread across all sorts of different sectors. I think that the old-fashioned sector definitions don't really work for us anymore. What we're looking for is companies from almost any sector that are in some way more energy efficient or more resource efficient, that their product or their service is going to bring efficiency gains and impacts, whatever sector they're in. And very often they're across different sectors. I mean, some of the companies that we've got here today will apply to many different sectors, but what they're doing is really innovative, and that's what we're looking out for. And as Sally said, there are plenty of companies like that. We invest through Low Carbon Innovation Fund. We invested in 45 companies initially. We've now got another 20 that we're looking at currently to make our first set of new investments. There's no shortage of really interesting companies here. And I think what I'd like to add as well is that I think the coordination between parties. So, for example, today we've got University of East Anglia and my team and what we do. We've got University of Essex, we've got Anglia Capital Group. we're all talking to each other all the time. And also the whole network of investors, early stage and other funds, we talk to each other all the time, and we're passing on opportunities and deal flow to each other to see, you know, who's best placed to help this company to get to the next stage, to make them investment ready, to make them a good prospect for their first round. So I think that really helps.
And where's the IP coming from? I mean, are there any particular areas or centres that we think so there's some great things coming out of?
Well, we've got BT Industrial Park in Ipswich, which is in Suffolk. And effectively, I mean, say the first deal on the platform today, Circuit Builder, is from that area. And you wouldn't expect it to come from there. You think BT is communications, but I'll let Circuit Builder talk about their own project. But certainly there are other areas. I'll let Saffron and Sally talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of pockets of really interesting projects.
Yeah, there are lots of organisations that are where IP is coming out of. We've got the whole Norwich Research Park. Obviously, we're on the edges of Cambridge. There's lots of tech going on around Norfolk and Suffolk and into Cambridgeshire. But actually, the bulk of the pipeline that we see are coming, you know, almost from nowhere. They're not necessarily, you know, some are coming out of these big organisations, but many are not. There's a lot more going on, and I don't think you can put your finger on one or two sources of IP. It's across the board.
And presumably there's quite a... Sorry, Sally.
No, I'd just say I would agree with that. I think the thing is as well that a lot of entrepreneurs who've perhaps grown up here and then gone away to university have now actually come back and realised this is a great place to live. It's a great place to start a business. So we're seeing entrepreneurs pop up all over the place. So I'd agree with you, Saffron. You know, little tucked away corners of Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex, entrepreneurism is alive and well and thriving. So
absolutely. And I think that's very true. You know, many of us were away in London for 25 years or elsewhere, and we've now come back and we're bringing, you know, everything we've picked up in the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we can all agree on that. Yes, I mean, definitely.
And presumably there's quite a few kind of local initiatives that are there to help that kind of thriving and growing ecosystem that we're seeing out there. I think Anglia Capital are involved in some local support as well. I mean, what are we seeing out there to help support founders kind of grow and scale?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of investor education as well, because we think that's really important. A well-informed, educated investor is going to make probably better investment decisions. So we do a lot of education, sort of trying to explain the risks and rewards of angel investing, how to do due diligence. So from our point of view, that's our piece of the game, really, that we're trying to create an educated and positive investor community, and obviously working closely with partners such as Invest East and University of Essex, who are working with the companies. So I think, you know, the ecosystem works very well.
Yes, and I think when you think the knowledge transfer partnerships, which Essex University is now second in the country for delivering, which is a phenomenal achievement from ground zero. And the fact that we've got growth hubs, very capable growth hubs in the east of England, which we can draw upon, and other support as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I think this is a perfect prelude to the amazing companies that are to come. So hopefully they'll do justice to all your good praises for the region and the area. Look, John, Saffron and Sally, thank you so much for joining the panel today and talking a bit more. For all of you, you can see details and backgrounds on our panelists on the brochure, which has just been shared in the chat. We'll also be providing, I guess, LinkedIn or kind of address details or follow-up details on the email that we'll send out to everyone that's joined us today as well. So look, an online round of applause to our panelists. Thank you very much for joining us. Great. So hopefully you can see that. So up next, we've got some, we've got a number of companies. We've got 8 businesses. They've got 4 minutes each. So we should be done in under 40 minutes. We should be finishing by 1 o'clock our deadline as well. I will shortly be inviting each business up one by one to do their presentation and tell us a bit more about what they do. So just a quick bit of information. Again, on that brochure, the link to which we've just shared online, there will be you can see more information about how much they're looking for, some details of their round as well. And again, I think quite a few of them are listed on the new Essex investment platform you can access through to. Plus, you can also reach out to them directly via Sally, Saffron or John as well if you want to find out a bit more about what the businesses are both up to. from a management perspective, we're not doing a Q&A after each business because of timing wise, but feel free to post a question to each of the founder on the chat as you wish, or in the Q&A section, and they can answer them live or tap in the background, obviously probably after the presentation as well. So first up, we've got Angus Thompson from Circuit Builder. Angus.
Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Angus Thompson. I'm the founder of Circuit Builder. To give you a very brief bit of context, electronic devices, as we all know, are all around us. We're all looking at a computer screen right now, surrounded by smartphones and many, many other very complex electronic devices. And the creation of those devices is only going to sort of go up as we into the future, as there are more and more needs for these sort of things. And that's where Circuit Builder comes in. So very briefly, Circuit Builder is a platform to simplify the whole process of creating custom electronics. Before I go too much into the what, I'll talk about the problem first of all. In the UK, there is a lack of skills for qualified engineers. A lot of companies need to build these complex devices. Many don't have the in-house expertise to do so, and even if they do, speaking from first-hand experience, often the engineers are very, very busy. So if you don't have the expertise in-house, you might look to recruit those engineers. However, as I mentioned, that is quite tricky and actually getting harder to recruit qualified engineers. So if you can't recruit engineers as a company, you might look externally to, for example, a consultancy. However, the tools to do this aren't really fit for purpose. Still, the sort of state of the art is to use email and phone calls. And those aren't really the best ways of communicating often very complex ideas to get your electronic device built. So that's where Circuit Builder comes in. First of all, we use our expert network of engineers. We have a network of engineers globally across a huge range of engineering disciplines so that we can offer these sort of very often niche skills on a very much on-demand basis. Secondly, we are leveraging this our existing library and an ever-increasing library of what we call pre-built circuit blocks. So we own these sort of blocks of IP, of intellectual property, and we can use those to sort of lower the barriers to entry and reduce the time to market for devices, to customize devices for a customer across really any sector. And thirdly, our intuitive platform, the whole basis of Circuit Builder, it all revolves around a web-based platform that allows a customer to see exactly what's going on with their project, and it's designed specifically for electronics. So it's far more sort of focused than very generic tools like email. The process itself is really quite simple. Customer comes to us with a requirement for a piece of custom electronics. Might be a sketch on the back of an envelope, it might be a full list of requirements. They upload that to the platform. We work with them to provide them a full breakdown of the costs so they know exactly what they're getting, how much it'll cost, how long it'll take. Once they're happy, we start to design this for them using one of our engineering our network of engineers. The half of the platform then actually shows the almost live view of the progress of their design. So as a customer, you can log onto the platform and see exactly what's going on, see your circuit board in 3D. So there are no sort of surprises at the end of the process. And then we'll work with one of our manufacturing partners to actually get that circuit board built, assembled, sent directly to your door. So the opportunity, as I sort of alluded to earlier, is huge and only getting bigger. In the UK alone, the R&D spend on just computer, electronic and optical products was over £1 billion in 2018, and that's of course growing. That boils down to a serviceable obtainable market of over £42 million, which is quite a conservative figure. So as you can see, there is a significant market for electronic devices. Now that leads us to sort of the financial plan. We are up to this point primarily self-funded with a small grant. We have revenue, so we have proven that the market is ready for this sort of service, and we've proven some of the assumptions in the platform. We're hoping in 5 years' time we will have, assuming a sort of margin of about 50%, a total revenue of about £2 million, which equals a net profit of just over 900,000. In terms of the sort of end goal here, the most sort of likely viable end goal, I believe, would be acquisition. There are several companies that would be we would be a great fit and we would add a lot of value to. For example, Avnet is a multinational company. They're a technology solutions company who are quite acquisitive. They buy companies in a space relevant to them, and they recently bought a company in a complementary area, but very similar in other ways to Circuit Builder. So we feel we are creating some really, really good value for companies like this to increase the scope of their offering. And there are, of course, alternatives. For example, Cambridge consultants could make use of what we do. There are manufacturers who would be interested in bringing in not just the manufacturing side, but also the design side, which is what we offer. I am the founder. I'm a sort of ex-Dyson, GE, worked across many sectors, from companies from 2 people up to 20,000. So I've seen firsthand a lot of the challenges that we aim to solve, or we are solving at Circuit Builder. But I'm supported by a fantastic team of people across many different sectors, from the Director of Innovation at BT at Industrial Park, as you mentioned earlier. So I've got a fantastic support cast of people who can sort of give their input. What we're looking for is £145,000. We're fully EIS, SEIS compliant. That's for 20% equity. The primary goal there is for increasing the marketing budget, so we can have a really big marketing push. And also, I alluded to this earlier, these sort of blocks of circuitry. We're aiming to focus initially on machine learning sort of enabled blocks, which is a very much bit of a buzzword at the moment, but it's a very exciting technology. So we can start to build a library of pre-built blocks to really lower the barriers to entry, so that we can offer this very complex electronic design to companies who don't have the expertise to do this themselves. That is a slightly rushed presentation, but thank you very much for listening.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about Iceni Diagnostics, a spin out from the John Innes Centre and the University of East Anglia. My name is Rob Field. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the company, and our remit is very much in the space of next generation diagnostics for infectious diseases, specifically based around carbohydrates. Now, unfortunately, you'll be all too familiar with plots like this from the newspapers and the evening news and so on at the moment. We're in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic. We hope that the worst is over in the UK, but it's clearly not eradicated. And as we see the summer months coming up and people wanting to go on holiday, followed by return to schools and universities, the issue of rapid diagnosis of infection is going to be really important to prevent further outbreaks. The issue that we've got at the moment is that the majority of the tests available are laboratory based. And the issue there then is that samples are taken away, tested, and then the results are given back. And that takes anything from 24 to 72 hours. There are the home mail-in opportunities, but again, there's still a delay. The point of care tests that are available tend to be in the hands of healthcare professionals, and they require elaborate instrumentation in order to get a readout. Where we really want to be is in this top right quartile. Home testing, mass testing, keep it simple, keep it fast, make decisions rapidly. And that's where Iceni Diagnostics sits. So our solution, in practical terms, is an adaptation of the pregnancy test kit. It's a well-tried technology. It's simple and easy to use. It's cheap. It doesn't require elaborate instrumentation to get a readout. It's suitable for use at home and also for mass screening and situations where you need immediate decisions to be made. It's what's inside the device that Iceni has IP secured on, and that's what allows us to work with this fairly low-tech approach to what is a global issue at the moment. Our approach is based around our trademarked host pathogen glycan recognition technology. Essentially what this relies on is the fact that a virus is made up of 3 things: genetic material, DNA and RNA, protein on its surface. And many of the current diagnostics will either detect the genetic material or the protein. Now, viruses mutate fairly rapidly, which changes the genetic material, which in turn changes the protein. So if you have a diagnostic based on either genetic material or protein, it has a finite lifetime. Now, viruses are not living entities. They do need to infect human cells in order to replicate. And they do that principally by recognition of sugars on the cells. And it's this recognition event that Iceni is focusing on. This is invariant from year to year, and it means that a test will remain effective for much, much longer. So this will be a first if we can pull this off. Now, as we go towards the winter months, the issue is not only about detection of coronavirus or COVID-19. The concern with the flu season coming up is that every sneeze, every cough will create paranoia. Do I have a COVID infection or do I just have flu? So the position for Iceni is in fact to make a duplex device that will detect both influenza and COVID-19. We already have identified the sugars necessary. We already have devices in place that are being tested through the NHS. We've engaged a contract manufacturer in the UK, Mologic, to allow us to scale production quickly. The very much bigger market in the US, we've in fact been approached by a US diagnostics company who wish to work with us. The advantage here is that it gives us access to US government funding, as well as a partner that already has manufacturing capability in place, as well as the marketing and distribution that goes with it. So this is our best hope to get something out this winter, and that's our focal point for the moment. For reference, we're looking at sales prices of £10 to £20 per test, and a gross margin of £5 to £15 per test, something of that order. In terms of financial projections, one can imagine in the current climate, particularly with the US and other markets, that there are huge advantages to be had from having a rapid diagnostic for coronavirus. In the background, we are also launching next year an equine influenza diagnostic in time for the Tokyo Olympics, and we're looking for an NHS-driven device for norovirus detection as well. We have an experienced team that have a background across the diagnostics and technology sectors. We've taken a number of research ideas right through to commercial products and sales, international sales. In terms of where we are now, we're at the point of seeking investment for the commercialization stage, 2 million into 1 million tranches. We already have traction with angel investors and local entities. We're looking for around about 500,000 of EIS investment right at the moment for this next stage. So with that, thank you for your attention. We have a unique opportunity to make an impact on the COVID-19 diagnostics arena, and happy to discuss offline.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Clark. I'm the co-founder and managing director for Masterfilter Limited. The wind energy industry has been a huge success, not least of which here in the UK. However, wind turbine gearboxes fail prematurely at an alarming rate. Statistically, half of them will fail within the first 3 years of operation. G-Cube, who are a global insurance company, one of many, have publicly stated that they receive 1,200 claims typically every year with gearbox failures, and they pay out between $200,000 and $500,000 each time. Masterfilter have designed and patented a unique technology that's able to keep oil ultra clean for the wind turbine industry. General Motors and others have been researching the benefits of ultra clean oil for a long time, and they have quantified that mechanical wear can be reduced by up to 93% in such circumstances. Masterfilter will be the first company that's able to bring this level of technology and performance to the wind turbine industry. We will significantly reduce the frequency of turbine downtime. Typically speaking, a gearbox, when it breaks down, is out of commission for 2 months. That equates to lost revenue for operators of around £600,000. And that's just for a medium-sized turbine. And they're getting bigger all the time. Speaking of getting bigger all the time, so is the market. Currently, it's running at a compound annual growth rate of 19%. There were nearly 23,000 turbines installed last year, 1 in 20 of which was offshore. That's our initial target market, because the economics for us are so compelling, but onshore will follow also. Every wind turbine has an oil filtration system installed. They just don't work very well. And by any measure, Masterfilter is superior. We are testing with the largest operations and maintenance subcontractor in the UK. We are speaking with many of the UK and European wind farm owners. We will be testing with at least 2 of them in the next few months. We have links with all European turbine OEMs. We have most traction with MHI investors, who are the biggest in the world. We are talking to them on 3 continents. One about integrating into their new turbines, one about retrofitting to existing assets, and one about them potentially investing in Masterfilter. I've been a senior executive in a global manufacturing company for 16 years. Alex is ex-BBC and is founder and CEO of Level 5 Supplies. They play in the autonomous vehicle space. Andrew is the managing partner of Sustainable Ventures. They have Europe's largest co-located cohort of clean tech businesses. We raised £163,000 2 years ago, and we spent some of this on an accelerated 3-month performance evaluation program at Strathclyde University. They then published a technical report pertinent to the wind industry, stating that we were the best thing since sliced bread. And on the basis of that, the Offshore Renewable Energy Catapult also named us as a game-changing technology. What we're looking for now is £650,000, 150 of which we hope will be public money. And at least one of our VC investors will probably reinvest. We will become the filter of choice in the industry. And we have a strategy for ensuring that we stay that way. We have high granularity in our numbers, and 5 million in 2022 will be conservative. This will be our final call. So if you'd like to join us on this fantastic opportunity, that would be great. My name is Paul Clark. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Hi, we're MyPart, and we have a digital marketplace for multi-billion industries in constant pursuit of songs. So let's talk about something that's a bit more fun. Without music, life would be a mistake. That's Friedrich Nietzsche there. I tend to disagree with pretty much everything Nietzsche said, but I think in this case, he was right on the money, assuming that he actually said this. Think about where music meets you in your own life. We're talking about singers that sings the songs that, you know, give us goosebumps, TV and film that highly affect how we define ourselves, ads and commercials, but also all of which, by the way, are huge industries, all in search of songs. But also there's a whole ecosystem surrounding songwriters and listeners at the end of streaming platforms and distribution, and also people who think that they can sing or play. So all in all, this is a huge, highly fragmented song marketplace, where basically one of the biggest problems is that song search is completely manual. If you're looking for a song as an artist, good luck. Hopefully you've studied with McCartney in high school. Otherwise, you're gonna have a tough ride. So song search is completely manual, and people still, to this day in 2020, put in earphones and hopefully listen to 1,000 mediocre songs to find one that's actually good enough to use. MyPart deals with this song search challenge in a completely new way. The ways that people tackle this today are tagging, scraping, and acoustic analysis. I don't know if you're Tom York fans or Muse fans, but basically these things don't work. They work on a simplification mechanism of taking music and dumbing it down to a few English words, which just miss everything that is actually in the song. Music is about beauty. It's about strangeness in proportions. It's something that gives you goosebumps. It's something that you just can't put in words. And what we've built at MyPart is an engine that is actually able to really comprehend the why and the how behind each song. How do we do that? Maybe it sounds imaginary, but no, we can actually use machine learning and AI to understand the semantics, the content, the subject matter and message conveyed of each song, mostly in the lyrics, and also the aesthetics of how the song is written, both on the lyrical and the musical side. We've invented something that we call song mining, which is basically song search on steroids, which is literally able to understand every single element of the songs that we all love. Automatically without manual involvement, to the extent of extracting, literally breaking it down to what makes it tick, as you can see here in this interface of ours called SongCrunch. Our go-to-market is with a product that we call SongMine, which is basically a music search solution for catalog owners, where you can put in a couple of songs and literally find everything you have in store that you own that might be relevant in light of these songs without going through the filter or the prism of having to describe it in words. And we allow you, as anyone searching, whether for the music, film, TV, or any other industry interested in looking for songs, to focus on songs that matter. We have traction of 3 of the major 5 music companies in the world. And the revenues projections from only this product soar in the upcoming years. We're proud members of Universal Music's Abbey Road Red program in London, which is also where we first met the Essex team. And we have a team that consists of not only myself, an engineer, award-winning songwriter and musician, but also Ronnie Vance, who signed Tupac and Gwen Stefani and tens of other chart-leading artists. Ariel Gadilov, who was for 6 years at Intel and knows everything about the finance and the legal, and also people like the former president of Nielsen and Entertainment and Billboard, the former director of research at Spotify, Professor Pattison from Berkeley Music of College, and the person who wrote Halo for Beyonce and SOS for Rihanna. So we think we know what we're doing. The opportunity is massive. We're talking about a single marketplace that serves all of these massive industries in their search, in their pursuit of songs that are relevant to whatever it is that they're doing. We started out 2 years ago. We're already Mass Challenge winners. And as I said, Abbey Road Red program graduates. And we are going into a post-seed extension round where we are seeking for $1.5 million, out of which we've already raised $1 million. So there's a really good opportunity within the next month and a half to put in a small amount of money and live the dream, because that's what it's all about. Previously, we raised $1.6 million, half of which from a VC that deals with media and entertainment. So I do my part, don't you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Harrison. I'm the Managing Director of Novo Farina. Novo Farina is a food ingredients and food products manufacturer and brand owner. We're founded by a small group of angel investors in the east of England and technical experts with food processing, engineering, and food and biology knowledge. You'll all be aware of the changing landscape and changing trends in food. So even the government has now tried to incentivize people to eat more healthily, and we've seen a huge growth in the free-from market, especially gluten-free, and the market's now over 600 million in the UK. There's been a massive explosion in interest in meat-free and meat replacement, not just the vegan market, which is a huge growing area, but also those just simply looking to reduce the amount of meat in their diet for a variety of reasons. And the UK meat-free market is set to exceed 1.1 billion by 2024. Also, people are thinking about food miles, carbon footprint of food, concerns about global supply chains, which obviously we've seen recently, and also supporting British manufacturing products. We see this as a big opportunity, and our products perfectly match that opportunity. So what do we do? Well, we primarily use British grown pulses, peas, in fact, as a base ingredient for flour, batter mixes, dough mixes, breadcrumbs, meat replacement products, and snacks. And at the moment, we have a relatively small manufacturing unit in Norwich. We produce our highly nutritious flour there as the core product for the other products. And we have proprietary processes to improve the processing and the flavor of that flour. It goes way beyond free-from. That flour has application way beyond the free-from market. And it's now finding itself into lots of products, including meat products, as a meat reducing agent and so on. Most of our business-to-business sales are, most of our flour sales are business-to-business. But we've increasingly moved into retail, and we now have a retail brand. We make batter and crumb products on a retail scale, and our recent growth has really been in meat replacement. So the TVP, textured vegetable protein, or TPP, textured pea protein product that we make from our plant in Norwich gave us about £140,000 of turnover in the first few months of this year, pre-lockdown. And that product has been in the Tesco Plant Chef range in their food to go section. During that period, we hit maximum capacity. We maxed out. We literally could not make enough of these materials, and this is why we're entering into an expansion phase. We also launched our snack product in January with a listing in W.H. Smith's, and it's very strong on its nutritional, so it's strong on the traffic lighting system. Lots of green traffic lights on there for fat and fibre and so on. And Smith's launched that product for us in January, and it's branded under our own proprietary brand, Simply's. So simple as Simply's, and we are doing well with that product. Despite the obvious bump in the road with coronavirus and changes in the retailers' buying habits, we're getting some strong conversations now with the big retailers, and during that period we've seen lots and lots of interest and uptake from smaller outlets that have themselves done well during that period, so farm shops and that sort of thing. The snack production is outsourced. It's made 100% out of our flour, but the actual extrusion process is outsourced because of the scale of it. But it's 100% Nova Farina flour. And on my opening page, you saw we've made the final for the Nourish Awards with this product, and we've got some pretty good company there. I think I've seen 6 or so M&S products in those awards alongside us as a relatively small company. So these are our forecasts. This is based on our expansion plan, and what we want is our new plant. We're aiming for a 600 to 700 square metre plant, and to be moving into there by the end of next year. Most of the investment is in specialist equipment that we need to upscale from where we currently are, and that will increase our capacity by a minimum of 6-fold. That's just based on a very modest shift pattern that we currently operate. And potentially up to 17-fold with the new equipment. We need 1.3 million to do it. Most of that is on plant. We value the company at the moment at 3.6 million. We've got some irons in the fire with grant applications, and we are in a strong area at the moment. It's an area where there's quite a lot of grant funding around. Out of the 1.3, we've got 225,000 already pledged, and we are EIS eligible. A little bit about our team. Our chairman is a lawyer, ex-lawyer, ex-Mills & Reeve partner. Our director on our board, we have the ex-CEO of World of Duty Free, who's worked as a brand and retail consultant for the last 10 years. One of our founders, Rob Alston, who is a Norfolk farmer and is one of our growers of the peas. We contract the growing direct, I should say. Alison Bertram, who is of the Bertram family, who took Bertram books from a few $100,000 to tens of millions before it was sold by the family. And then in terms of key personnel and advisors, Malcolm Stewart is ex-chief engineer of Unilever Birdseye and Heinz, and financial control, we've got Mark, and sales and marketing, Alex from ex-Kettle Foods. That's it, that's us, that's my contact details. If you want any more information, please let me know. And you can also contact us through ACG. We have 6 ACG members are amongst our current investors, and we in total have raised about 1.3 million to date, all from angel funding. We also have investment from the co-op and from the local, the LEP, Anglia LEP. Thank you very much.
Great.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin. I'm CEO of Spark EV Technology. We build and supply personalized journey prediction software for electric vehicles of all sizes. We've been going since 2017. We're revenue generating, and we're revenue generating through proof of concept projects where we're working with leading automotive OEM and tier 1 supplier brands, and we've done these testing now across Asia, US, and Europe. We've also got 4 patents for the prediction system. This covers China, Europe, UK, and US. Now, I've been driving electric vehicles for 9 years, and when you get into an EV, one of the most important bits of information is the range, usually in miles or kilometers, and it says how far, gives you an indication of how far you can travel on a single charge. And these are very erratic. You can travel 7 kilometers along a road, and your range can drop by 14 kilometers or more. And this leads to a lot of problems in terms of adoption of EVs. This leads to range anxiety. Am I going to run out of battery before I get to my destination? Charge anxiety. Do I need to wait on this charger for longer than is necessary, costing me time, costing me money? And fundamentally, for our customers, car companies, do you trust the information your vehicle is telling you? And is it right? This EV right for your lifestyle? Our system pulls live data from the driver, the vehicle, atmospherics such as weather, and the route, so each journey segment, and we say whether or not you can go from A to B and to your nearest charge point. At the end of the journey, we compare predicted energy against actual energy, and then refine that using a set of machine learning algorithms. Now, our core customers are automotive OEMs, tier 1 suppliers, and system integrators like mapping, navigation systems, and chip companies. We deploy our software as a software development kit, and this is integrated into the infotainment system of the vehicle as part of the sat-nav. In terms of our testing to date, we've done this with several OEMs. We're accurate to within 2 kilometers, whereas we've seen errors with major OEMs of over 30 to 45 kilometers. It's a long walk home if you get it wrong. And in terms of the testing, we've outperformed every OEM, including Tesla. In terms of our customer benefits, so we work alongside tier 1 suppliers and OEMs, and this is a complementary software addition. This gives them a faster speed to market than trying to build this themselves. And it gives their drivers confidence, a personalized in-vehicle experience, meaning they can trust the vehicle, helping them go from trying an EV to buying an EV. And this technology is applicable across EV bikes up to EV trucks for retail customers and commercial fleets. The market for embedded software systems for EVs across all sizes is going to be worth 1.1 billion by 2023. And in terms of our revenue model, we generate revenues 2-stage. So we do a project fee as a proof of concept. And when we convince the customers to buy, it's a license fee per EV model and lifetime royalties, plus some support, maintenance, and upgrades. Despite COVID, the automotive challenges of this year, we've secured 4 proof of concept projects with a German and an Austrian tier 1. These are global companies, a German OEM and a British OEM. And our goal for the rest of the year is to complete testing. These are in Europe and the US, and close out an evaluation license to generate our revenue target for this year of 90K. We've had support from APC, so the Advanced Propulsion System Centre TDAP program of 105K, and also Innovate UK via a KTP with the University of Essex. And our goal is to be a trusted partner to the OEM and tier 1 suppliers, integrating into mass EV programs. So looking to generate nearly 11 million turnover with a 6.5 million EBITDA, supported by 36 staff by 2025. The investment round's going well. We're raising 530K, 360K of that has been committed by Low Carbon Innovation Fund, New Anglia Capital, and Leading Angels. This is an experienced automotive leader and a VP of Google. We have 170K that's EIS applicable left in the round with an option to overfund. And this will give us 18 months cash runway and get us to cash positive for our first meaningful licenses. My team has over 65 years of experience developing and commercializing software, culminating in 6 exits via trade sale and 1 exit via IPO. We're an experienced team backed by some experienced advisory board members across the automotive industry. I'd like to thank you for your time. If you've got any questions, please email me, and we'd love you to invest and join our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Andries. I'm the CEO and founder of Upside. We're helping people save by reinventing cashback through the power of open banking. According to the Money and Pensions Service, just in June, the impact of COVID has been quite detrimental to most households in the UK, to the point where 11.5 million households in the UK have less than £100 in savings. Whereas if you look at the data, there is at least £240 available in situations where customers are missing out on opportunities, the biggest of which is auto cashback, meaning that customers do not have the time to sit and optimize their lives, making sure they can claim each and every cashback deal, and therefore they're missing out of it. At the same time, although spend is under pressure, there is a huge opportunity for retailers to move existing spend from competitors to themselves by incentivizing customers through a frictionless cashback at their shops. We've already got a product in market. We're running it with private alpha testers to make sure we iron out any glitches. There's 800 on the waiting list, and we're onboarding them as we go. The product works as simple as you plug in through open banking. We then use that underlying banking data to identify the spends you've had at participating retailers and automatically notifying the user and putting the cash straight into their Upside savings account. From a retailer perspective, this is a remarkable shift. The fact that open banking data is the underlying current allows them to do things which, with card linking and affiliate deals and promo codes and so forth, they can't do. First and foremost, it gives them the ability to target specific segments and show these Upside campaigns to only those segments. Secondly, it allows them to in real time track as these sales mature and have direct attribution to the point of sale. Thirdly, it allows them to see metrics which have not yet been available to them until now. Things like wallet share for specific customer segments and specific categories of spend. The reason why this is now possible is because open banking gives us a holistic view of the customer with their consent, of course. It's no longer just point-to-point transactions. Now, the first thing that normally comes up in investor conversations is, wow, fintech's very crowded space. Where does this all fit in? And we do not disagree, hence why our strategy is actually to partner with these companies and therefore think of Upside as a service that we are promoting and want to embed in all the various different players that you can see there. The traditional approach would be to go after the target market of 15.5 million sophisticated spenders. And that is an opportunity to us. Catherine, our co-founder, which you'll see in a second, her business has 1.2 million unique customers for which we have GDPR marketable permissions. So there is a huge opportunity from a D2C perspective. However, as I've just said, it's a crowded space and that requires quite a big investment from a customer acquisition perspective. So our scaling strategy is a B2B2C, plug into where customers already are in their bank apps and therefore allow them to get the upsides they're missing out on. Our revenue model is to take a commission on all those upsides generated. We believe by 2024, we can generate 1.5 million customers. And on average, by then, we'll be able to generate £327 per year per customer, which translates into just less than 50 quid per customer. And after some revenue share, a decent ARR. Paul and I, our CTO, go way back. Paul worked with me at Aviva when I ran the digital factory over there. I also ran Dollardex, which is a nutmeg of Singapore, $500 million assets under management. And then Paul and Catherine go back quite some time, living both in Norwich and knowing each other. So as a founding team, we've been working together for quite some time and tightly knit. We're also supported by some excellent advisors, Paul from Tandem Bank, Marcus from Google, Renilla and James knows the savings market back and forward, and Brian brings a retail wealth of experience and a black book like you won't believe, which is really encouraging. These are the active conversations we're having with these retail brands already, and this is just in the last 4 weeks that we've unlocked these conversations through the power of Catherine and Brian's networks. And then similarly for myself and our advisors, we've managed to get into distributor conversations already. The opportunity to invest, we're raising 750,000 EIS qualifying. We've already confirmed a third of that, which comes from our existing investors following on, and there's a handful of new investors that's still to commit numbers as well. I look forward to taking any questions or meeting you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Graham Cornhill, CEO and co-founder of YQ. YQ is looking to raise 500,000 for a super EIS qualifying opportunity. Man once said to me that if you can't explain your business in one paragraph, then it's probably uninvestable. So here goes. YQ really is a solution that enables you to download, register a hospitality solution that gives you access to a venue's menu within 5 seconds in order for you to browse, order and pay for your own food and beverage via any internet-enabled device in just 2 keystrokes from within or outside the venue. Now, what does this mean? Well, essentially, if you're sitting on the beach in Barbados or wherever it is you holiday, you've got 2 choices for service. You put your hand up for service or you walk over to the bar. With YQ, all you simply need to do is take your device, whether it be a mobile, laptop, e-reader, makes no difference, scan a QR code, pull the menus into that device, and that enables you then to browse, order, and pay or charge to your room under your own control of your own device. What's the size of this market? It's a $55 billion market, and it's just got started. YQ is concentrating in the hotel vertical. There's 187,000 hotels worldwide. Those 187,000 hotels represent a market cap of $2.4 billion. You have to ask yourself the question, can YQ penetrate that? Well, we've just won the Hilton contract globally. Hilton, represents only 2.4% of the marketplace, which represents 57 million in annual revenue. By 2023, our annual revenue target is actually only 21 million with a 79% EBITDA. Do you think we can get it? I think so. Plus we have multiple other contracts coming down the pipe. Our revenue model is purely a software as a service. So we're charging on a monthly basis, but there are many, many spin-off additional revenues, such as the revenue we attract from the payment gateways on transactions. Who are we working with? We're working with a lot of the major hotel brands. Hilton, obviously all of their sub-brands, Waldorf Astoria, etc. But we're also working with hotel brands like Kempinski. We've got a national contract with Rank organisation that includes their brands Mecca Bingo and Grosvenor Casinos. We're live in over 100 sites of theirs. We're also working with Al Sharia, which is a restaurant company out in the Middle East. They've got 22 different brands, including Shake Shack, Blaze Pizzas, Pinkberry, etc., etc. Plus we've got some cinemas. We've got 155 sites going live out in the Middle East, all under contract. In fact, we've got contracts now in 21 different countries ready to go live. Hence, I need the money. The use of the funds, it certainly isn't business development. I've got an overflowing bath and I can't turn the taps off. Where we need to spend the money is to strengthen our development team, so in order that we can deploy these sites much, much quicker. We also need to take in-house legal. That's because I'm fed up with paying lawyers in London. And we need to strengthen our compliance issues because we're dealing in the enterprise market. In terms of business development, our focus purely is on developing our reseller market in order that we can strengthen each region through third parties. The team, myself, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started, built and exited quite a number of businesses for multi-millions, both for my shareholders and myself. So I've been around the block. Stephen Kennedy, he's an ex-FTSE 250 board level general manager. He's a very, very valuable advisor to us. Nick McNay, he's a hedge fund entrepreneur. In fact, he's just sold out, so he's a super high net worth individual now and supporting us. Shiji Chang, she heads up our investment committee. We've attracted a lot of investment over in Asia, just over £4 million. And she works for Mishcon de Rea, the law firm in London. Patience Tucker heads up our business development. She's very, very experienced at high level in enterprise selling. Hence, we've secured contracts like the Hilton, which for a startup is pretty impressive. Stuart and Jeremy are heading up our deployments teams from a technical perspective and have considerable experience in that background. So I'd like to invite you to the next chapter of growth of YQ. It's very, very exciting. It's running at 500 miles an hour. If you want to be involved in something that's such fun and growing very, very quickly, then please make contact. Thank you very much.
So up next, we're going to have a bit of a closing remarks from John Stenhouse, the Business Support Manager for University of Essex. John, do come on.
Thank you, Rod. That's very, very good. Well, first of all, I would like to thank our presenters who came on board at very short notice to do their very short pitches. No mean feat. So that's Angus, Rob, Paul, Manet, Chris, Justin, Andres and Graham. Thank you very much indeed. Without you, we wouldn't have had this showcase. I'd also like to thank Sally and Saffron, because without their assistance, we wouldn't have been able to pull this excellent selection together. And thanks to Rod and Catherine for organising and hosting this webinar on our behalf. They have truly pulled out the stops for us. Thank you so much. So without further ado, I've just wanted to mention that University of Essex is here to help and support businesses going forward. We're here to put investors alongside innovation, and there are so many programs available out there. You just need to come and ask us. We can refer you to where you need to go next. We're here for your journey. That's what it's all about. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Rob, and thank you very much.
Thank you, John. So, look, just a few closing remarks from me as well. It's been very great. It's been great to see some great businesses. We've learned why East of England could be an exciting place to start looking for from an investment perspective. And there are 3 great organisations that you could go to if you're an investor to find out a bit more about the region to get yourself going. So do reach out to Anglia Capital, University of Essex, and the work John does, and obviously Saffron at University of East Anglia too. Just if you haven't yet quenched your thirst for webinars, we've got a couple of things coming up. We've got Friday Focus. So tomorrow, Anthony Rose, who is the kind of mastermind of BBC iPlayer. He's now the founder of Seed Legals, which is a new online investment platform for executing deals. They do some really cool stuff. I'm interviewing Anthony tomorrow at 11 a.m. So feel free to sign up and join. We'll post a link for that in the chat and probably send it as a follow-up email. We've also, for those of you who are representing angel groups and are members of UKBAA, you can join us next week on the 6th of August we're having a bit of a round table, kind of exploring what does the new normal look like, what's the future of finance, kind of chatting through some of the key issues that will be coming up for angel groups. So do feel free to join for that too, and we will let you know of more events as they unfold. So look, that's it from me. Thank you very much for joining us, and apologies for being 7 minutes late, but we had quite a lot of content to get across in quite a short time, and I think we've done it well. So I look forward to catching up with you all, hopefully in person, in the not too distant future, and thank you very much for joining us.